Oh, just one second.
And happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to Fazig Tipton and the Lexington Selective Yearling Sale. Another gorgeous day here in Lexington. It's certainly, I don't want to say it's cooled off because it's been very comfortable, but after those real high temperatures early in the week, we had a little rain yesterday, but today it's been very ideal. And it's been a great day for thestable.ca. We'll get to that in just a moment, but we've got one night left in the Lexington Selective Yearling Sale for 2023. Session number 5 is coming up beginning at 7 p.m. And that will wrap up this year's sale from here in Lexington. Of course, there's some great racing action going on this weekend. And back here on the desk, we're going to have to take some time to talk about the racing action that went on this afternoon. Mark McKelvey along with Anthony McDonald. And back-to-back weeks, a Grand Circuit winner is Pickpocket. Congratulations, Anthony. Fantastic effort today again by Pickpocket. It all came together, and now a two-time Grand Circuit winner.
Yeah, he's certainly turned into a kind of a special horse for us. You know, he's just a nice horse. He does his work well. We ended up with a great trip today, and you know, he kind of knifed his way through and punched through and got the win. And you know, Eric and Kathy Padlin have done just a great job with those horses down there. And it just goes to show, you know, the people we employ and the people that hard work pays off in this game. If you get an opportunity, you get a chance, and you know, whether it be, you know, Harry or Jason or Dominic or Mario or anybody, or Eric, anybody, all of our trainers, you know, we all work as hard as we can. And the one thing that, you know, Eric and all of our trainers have really come to employ is being upfront with our clients and having that open door policy. It's really hard to break sometimes. You know, Jamie did a great interview with Blair Burgess yesterday, and you know, Blair's a little reclusive sometimes. He always has been, but you know, to see a guy like him start to branch out and start doing some fractional ownership work has been. It was really nice to see that, to be honest, because if a guy like Blair can do it happily, anybody can, and I think that's one thing. And you know, you keep your nose to the grindstone, so to speak, and have a little luck and end up with a horse like Pickpocket, and you know, you end up spending a great day in Lexington. You know, the van came around to pick me up and bring me back to the paddock, and I said, nah, I'm just gonna walk, and I walked down the track. It was pretty cool.
That was a good feeling. I mean, it was really cool, especially when you hear the spectators and the fans clapping for each horse after they win. I mean, it is something unlike really anything else we have going in our sport, and that's tradition, of course. There's so much history there, but you know, watching that race and then seeing the emotion, seeing Amy, how happy she was, and just like the partners. I mean, Steve Palermo, I think he told us he was almost in tears.
Yeah, and there's a perfect example. Steve Palermo's owned horses with a lot of people and done a lot of racing, does some breeding, owns some horses, been a lot of places. He owns 1% of Pickpocket, and he was almost in tears in the winner's circle, and it just shows the emotion of our sport and how wonderful it is. And you know, even I try my hardest now not to let moments like that pass by, but they do. And you know, I come off the track, and you know, I'm walking back, and as I'm walking by, and you know, shaking hands or whatever and saying thanks, I'm focused on what's going on tonight.
Right.
And it's just, that's how I'm wired, and that's how it is. And I sometimes I gotta just take a minute and say, you know, it was pretty cool.
You did say that yesterday, the fact that last week's win really didn't kind of click in until several hours after. Was today a little more? But again, like you said, we're back here. We got another sales session.
I got work to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. You know, you always want to. I'm sure anybody in any sport is the same way. If they do good at it, you know, it's nice to say, "Geez, that was great. That was a great moment." But what's next? You know, we're always moving forward and focused on tonight. Focused on. It was so great because two of our clients had actually spent a lot of money in Lexington, and one of them didn't own any of Pickpocket, had called me after and said, you know, maybe next week when things cool down, we'll sit down and talk about Harrisburg. Harrisburg's not even on my radar yet, and it's right around the corner. And, you know, it's so exciting to be involved with so many people that just love horse racing and want to be a part of what we're doing. And we put a lot of work in. You know, you guys put a ton of work in. Everybody that was here put a ton of work in this week. And it all culminated. You know, it just drives by. You know, you said you get the numbers from last night. I thought about it, and without looking at my catalog, I might not have been able to tell you the 4 we bought last night. And that's the very start of it all. So it's always this rush and this blur. And you know, I think sometimes it's nice to come up for some air and just relive what took place.
Definitely. Our man behind the scenes, Curtis, I've got to ask him a question. Do we have the replay of Pickpocket from earlier today? Why don't we bring that up just before we do move on to tonight's sales session and also reflect on yesterday. Another long day. Now that you factor in the racing and you think about it, we came in this morning.
Yep.
Lots of time to look at yearlings. Got
Yep.
some videos of the horses that were purchased yesterday. Go over to the track. Now back here. We're going to bring up the replay, and we're rolling it right now from about the half on. I just wanted you to kind of maybe take us through how the trip played out in your mind. You got out of there pretty well, and then as we pick it up from the half here, Mars Hill made that move in the second quarter.
Yep.
Took that one just a little bit there, just to take a little sting out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I know. As I said to you, I couldn't place Toddy's horse's name, but I knew he was a player in the race. The two that I was keeping, or three I was keeping my eye on was Aki, Scotty, and Yannick. And when Aki rolled up alongside, he's not stupid. You know, he was going to try and keep me in there, and I knew I was going to have to either dive to the inside or wiggle my way out. And I just thought that there was a little room to my right. There was a place to go, and at this point I knew I was going to get room. And I thought I had them measured, and I kicked the plugs out and I called on him, and he just jumped forward.
Definitely did. Really dug in there, and Powers on by to get the victory. He knew what he had to do. He knew how to win, right?
And that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you and I and everybody last night, we went out with Dave Reed. They sold his full brother for I think $260,000. So now that he's sold, I don't think we really have any leverage for stake in Harrisburg. But who knows? Maybe Dave will come forward with that too. But it was I was a little worried. I joked with you guys. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Not driving for a week. I kind of felt bad because here's my brother Mark in the grandstand, and I call a spade. Both my brothers are better drivers than me, and to have my brother sitting there while I'm sitting in the bike, if things had went wrong, that would have bothered me all night. So, to not drive for a week and sit down here and eat steak and go out every night and know that I'm a little bit 5-6 pounds heavier than I was when I arrived here, it was a little taxing. But once you get in behind the gate. It was funny because watching the race, a bunch of people asked me, geez, you almost lose him leaving the gate. He just put a shuffle in when he was coming out of there, and he's a true competitor too. We've never really seen him. He got beat a couple of times, but I've never seen him where he was beat down. Like the night that Toddy had driven him and he kind of got loose on the front end with him. The next week he come back ready to play, and that's a true competitor. And he's just been just such a good horse for us. And I'm just so happy for everybody at the stable, and most definitely the people that own that horse, because it's not, somebody asked, you guys are spending a lot more money this year. This is a progression of what we're trying to do, right? We do have people that wanted those horses, but we also are never going to get away from our roots where, we are buying all sorts of horses for everybody, and everybody gets a chance, whether it's a long shot or a favorite, to get in behind the gate and to get their horses raced. And we've done it in such a way that it's almost very conservative. Every year we try to get a little bit better. We're not making those massive splashes from one year to year 1 to 2. We've been at this for 7 or 8 years. And the people, as long as people feel comfortable and get involved with the horses for the right reasons, which is, as I said, disposable income in our first interview, I think that the stable will continue to grow as is. And I'm just so happy for everybody involved today.
You mentioned about Mark sitting up in the grandstand. He came down to the winner's circle. I mean, it was kind of a little bit of a family affair there. It's kind of cool, I thought, to have him on that end of the equation. And now that we look ahead, before we do talk about tonight's sale and what went on yesterday, Breeders' Crown, next destination?
Yeah, his last 2 races will be the elimination in the final, and I gotta try and figure out what I want to do.
Right.
And I know the horse, and the horse knows me, but am I the best fit for Pickpocket in the Breeders' Crown? I don't know yet. I won't hesitate to fire myself if I have to, but that's a discussion for myself and I suppose over the next 2 weeks or so. So I always want to do what's right for everybody involved, and I grew up wanting to race in these big races, but my job is different than it was now. That my job doesn't necessarily have to take me into the driver's seat of the Breeders' Crown. I'm here for the stable, for our clients, and if I need to be here for Pickpocket, then great. And if I don't, that's okay too.
Well, okay, let's talk now about the sale that's coming up here tonight, and also tomorrow, or yesterday, I should say, added a few more. I would bring up the numbers here right now, but at this point, we're about 800 horses into the sale. I'm kind of losing count here. More horses, and it was funny, I was reading that yesterday, day number 4, there were more horses selling on day 4 than there was last year. And so I know it felt like maybe there was a little bit of a soft sale, but it's up a bit this year with the sale.
Well, I think Carl's sister maybe drug those numbers up a little bit, because it seemed like there was some pockets in yesterday's sale for sure. And it's funny because, everybody, you can't understand the sale as the animal it is until you're here. You're right here.
21% it was down yesterday from day 4 last year.
The sale prices were down 21%.
The sale price on that specific day.
Well,
on
I mean,
day
when you
number
think
4,
that
right?
they sold that filly for what you go for, $4.25, $4.50.
Yep.
So, and that's not to take anything
Yep.
away from it. When you sell that many horses, there are going to be gaps.
44 more horses sold yesterday. So then there was the year before.
I
on
was
day
so
4,
interested to see there were still a number of good-looking six packs and Captain Crunches, and they get crunched this year.
They did.
But if I was Anthony McDonald 6 years ago, I would have bought all the six packs and Captain Crunches, just hoping that
You would have scooped up a ton yesterday.
because I would have been like, listen, we need to hope.
Yeah.
And I've said this before. When we came to the sale, I told everybody, do not judge first crop sires on one crop. You can't judge the Captain Crunch on 2022. You can't judge six pack on 2022.
Right.
Now, if they flop again, if they tend to lose some market next year, okay, then we can discuss that. So I don't begrudge anybody for buying those horses up. I would have done the same thing. We just weren't. We weren't in a position. That is what we were trying to do this year.
Tried to do, yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago. That's exactly what we would have done. We would have left here with 2 trailer loads full of six packs and Captain Crunches. So for the people that bought those, smart move. It's worth the risk, and hopefully it pays off for them.
631 was the first horse purchased yesterday, and as I look over there, it looks like we've got that video queued up. Gaslight Hall, a muscle mass colt. $27,000 was the purchase price here. Comes from Walnut Hall.
It's funny, you're going to talk to a gentleman in a few minutes that bought the second horse in the ring. So you have the daily double here.
Yep, we do.
I bought the first one, he bought the second one. And I still can't wrap my head around. I thought about it. I cannot wrap my head around how those two muscle masses went for what they went for. Here you have a brother to a world champion, and the second dam, another world champion. He's correct. He looks nice. He's a good-looking horse. I still don't understand how that particular horse brought $27,000, but I don't know how to explain it. He just did.
Right.
And I think that he was a pretty good pickup as far as I'm concerned. I find it really hard to believe that people were off of muscle masses, but we bought 2, and I thought they were grossly underpriced, both of them. So Gaslight Hall was a very nice individual. And again, it's just one of those things where even I can probably hopefully give you 10 reasons why that horse was, but I can't give you one. I don't know why he was only $27,000.
669 was the next purchase, and that was a Resolve filly out of a Lucky Chucky mare, Lexi Marie. Lexi Marie had a decent mark, 55-3 as a 3-year-old, was a winner several times. And now, she's still pretty young when it comes to being a broodmare. She only had a couple of foals here. And Resolve, I've been really intrigued by the Resolves. They've had pretty good results, even though it's kind of in limited numbers each and every year.
Yeah. So he's gone now. I think they exported him, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we only had one Resolve, I believe, with just Resolute Bay, who's been an incredibly good horse for us. And when I look at this horse, there's going to be horses like in Harrisburg, in Lexington, in London, in Ohio. There's always that financial puzzle to put together, right?
Yep.
We know the horses we want, and then you have to put together a supporting cast, so to speak. And when it came to this filly, it was a pretty easy pickup. One, I love Resolve, much like you do. I'm very intrigued with them. We hit the first one out of the park. 2, I've come to really like Lucky Chucky mares. I don't know why, but I've seen some of our aged horses and horses that we've had have been out of Lucky Chucky mares, and I circled that right away. And then when you look at it, is it a glowing report on the pedigree page? No, but it comes down to the individual also.
Right.
I liked her a lot. She was a little bit towed in, but for $20,000, we're going to be bringing a pretty athletic-looking filly by a sire that's done really good things in Ontario back to Ontario with us. And I just thought that this was a pretty easy purchase for 20. There's nobody going to throw a ticker tape parade. I think we did our work and did our job, and she's a decent type.
685 is next. Manhattan Money. This is a bay colt by International Money out of Manhattan AS, which is a Muscles Yankee mare. First colt here. I've had one previous foal, and so here we get the first colt. International Money. We're going back there here.
The exact same thing.
$20,000.
Yeah, 21. Yeah, the exact same thing here is the filly. Just a great kind of foot soldier, as I like to say it, foot soldier type horse for us. A horse that's really going to prop up the middle of our barn, so to speak, as we train down. It's a pretty affordable pickup for the stable.
Right.
You've got great pedigree there. We've had nothing but great luck with International Money. And then, as you said, here's a Muscles Yankee mare, first colt out of that mare. I look back at the first foal sold, hasn't raced yet. In fact, the breeders of all the second dams still own that first foal. So when I look at this horse, there's tons of pedigree, speed, and good things happening in the second dam, Lion King AS, Touchdown AS, all those good horses. And then even in the third dam again, you got lots of money, lots of speed. The second best horse made 400 in the third dam. The top of the page made 785. You got a lot of pedigree, a lot of talent in a sire that we love at the stable for 21,000. You know, I told you about how the Walner filly was an easy pickup and probably the easiest one of the entire sale. Maybe this guy was.
Well, the next one you did purchase, we're going to go to 721 Speed of Sound, just $6,000. We were looking at this filly this morning, and I don't know what it was about her. I just kind of like her.
Yeah.
I really did. And there isn't much on the page here.
No.
It might be the thinnest page
Yeah.
in the entire sale. But this is a tactical landing. They've been averaging around $70,000,
Yeah.
and here we get one for $6,000. So explain this one.
I'll tell you what, this particular filly, I was the same way you were.
Yep.
When I walked up and looked at her, I'm like, wow, that's a really nice filly. You know, she's well put together, looks really, really good. And when I look at this particular page, there's nothing but white there.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
but
nothing
that's
on
all but if you look, it's all European,
Yeah,
European,
that's-
European, European. This is all exports.
Yep.
Right? So, or imports, I guess. So when I
We're
look,
just missing information, essentially,
well,
probably, right?
I don't
Yeah.
know anything
Yep.
about any of those horses.
Yep.
But when I look at this horse, you know, I keep telling everybody too, at the end of the day, we're not racing. I'm not racing my iPad.
Nope.
I'm not racing the sales catalog or the video of the horse. We have to race that particular horse. And when it comes to Speed of Sound, I thought she was a really nice individual. Actually, Amy wasn't very happy with me when I bought this horse. She goes, you know, here I thought you stuck to the program, the wholesale, and then you just go and buy this tactical landing filly. I said, well, first, we don't have any tactical landing horses this year. For a stable that had like 6 or 7 the year before. 2, I like this filly, by the way, in case you don't know. And 3, you can't complain about a $6,000 horse.
Amy's not standing around here. I can
No,
tell
I'm
that's why
acting
you're
tough 'cause
acting
she's
really
gone
tough right
right
now.
now, but she'll be back soon.
We went with her this morning to look at it. You know, brought it out of the stall.
Oh yeah,
and
what
I
did she
don't-
say?
Oh, she kind of huffed a little and shrugged her shoulders, but I don't know. There was something about Speed of Sound. I'm a little
Just
intrigued.
a beautiful filly. I like this filly, and it has nothing to do with the price. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what would it take for me to purchase that filly? $6,000 is a good start.
Yeah.
It's really
I
hard.
thought it was.
Really hard not to put my hand up when it comes to a really, really good-looking filly like her, and she is a good-looking filly.
Yep.
And for me not to be intrigued, you can't tell me why you don't like her because you don't know any of the pedigree. So
Exactly.
it's
There's
not-
nothing on there. Exactly.
There's nothing not to like because you don't know any of those horses. So when it comes to Speed of Sound, I was really impressed with her.
All right. Well, I think that was it, right? Was that our final purchase of the day, Speed of Sound?
It was, yeah.
It was,
it
yeah.
was.
So
of the sale, yeah, so far.
That was it of yesterday. Now we're coming up on night 5, day 5, however you want to call it.
Wasn't the last purchase.
Did we miss one?
Of this sale, it was the last purchase.
That's a very good point. But that for the last purchase of Thursday, but for
That's
Friday,
right.
we've already
we
had
had made
one
a purchase. So I had a very good friend of mine call me about a month ago. I was supposed to go to the PEI sale.
Yes.
And the only reason, for all the people out there in Prince Edward Island, the only reason I wasn't in PEI, I was going to leave Steve and Amy. Well, you guys were leaving too. Steve and Amy was going to stay here and bid on our day 5 horses. I was going to fly to Prince Edward Island for the sale, but then Pickpocket got in the international money, or international stallion.
Yep.
So I could not, that was the only reason I couldn't go. I was scheduled, I had a flight booked, I believe,
Yep.
and everything was ready to go, but I couldn't make it down there because I was in the race at the Red Mile today, which in hindsight I think was the right way to go.
I think it turned out okay.
But we did have a friend of mine tell me about Woodmere Steel Deal's full sister that was in the sale. Now, every year we have a ton of people from the Maritimes that want to get involved. And we have a ton of clients in the Maritimes that are involved. And I'd asked Smitty, my very good friend of mine, Jamie Smith, he said, you know, it's a really, really nice filly. You know, her full brother was a winner in 48 and still racing in Ontario, I believe, for Carmen Osiello, right around the opener, backup class type situation. And just such a really, really good horse, and just crushed and dominated in the Maritimes when he was in. Oh, most importantly, the pizza arrived.
Pizza is here.
What's that? That's all right.
No dips. But some good looking pizza.
Pies and pints. Have you ever had that?
I have, yeah.
Oh,
We had it last year.
so good. So he said a three-quarter sister by Bet the Moon.
Yep.
Who, you know, I don't know Bet the Moon, and I think he raced in Ontario. But a three-quarter sister to Woodmere Steel Deal, and just a really, really good-looking filly. And I trust Smitty implicitly. And he said, no, nice filly. And And I told him, I woke up today, I said, listen, why don't we talk about this right now? And 370,000 made a mark of 48-4, pretty nice horse. I said, why don't we talk about this right now, because I might be hard to get a hold of all day. And he said, no problem. He said, I really, really like the filly. I don't know what she's going to bring. I said, I'll tell you what, you just buy her like it was your money. And if you buy her, you buy her. And if you don't, you don't. And I missed the sale. I missed her go through the ring. And I got a text from Smitty saying we got her. She went for $28,000. So I thought it was a good way for us to get into, we're into Michigan, you know, we're into Illinois, we were almost into Minnesota. We were that close to being into Minnesota. So we are everywhere we need to be. And somebody said, why are you buying horses in all these little places? Why? I don't know if you noticed, but the stable's made up of little people.
It's everywhere, though.
And I want to be everywhere. I want people knowing that there's a way to race your horses and be a part of something big no matter where you live. And that's what the stable's about. So yes, we purchased, I think her name was Woodmere Betcha.
28,000.
28,000, yeah, Woodmere Betcha. So really, really impressed with, one, my buddy Smitty's frugal behavior in Prince Edward Island, and two, the fact that we picked up this filly. I think she'll do nothing but good for us. So really excited about today, and then obviously, you know, excited to get the filly, go to Kentucky, or go to the Red Mile and race the horse. And actually, it probably helped that he was 8 or 9 or 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Because you know, expectations were a little tempered as you go on the track. You know, I hadn't driven in almost a week. I'm up against the best drivers in the world with a 10 to 1 shot. Expectations are low, and it probably took a little bit of the edge off when I went on the track, but certainly raced great.
I'm not going to say it, but you know, you didn't necessarily tell me to hang my stocking. You didn't say it was Christmas, so
no,
we might have missed out there on making a few extra dollars.
You know, everybody said, "Oh my God, he raced good." He raced as good as he did last week. So if you missed last week, that's on you.
That's the old saying.
That's on me. But if you missed this week,
the wedding,
that's
something
on you.
like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, hey, that was great. It's been a real fun day. So coming up tonight, we've got some video packages to start rolling through here in just a second, but. It's Ohio heavy tonight. I know Diamond Creek's putting on some beach party for down by the seaside.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I think it's gonna be kind of more diverse crowd coming in.
Did you stay here last?
Yep.
So it's so weird because it's almost like Lexington closed last night,
and
an entirely new sale popped up today. It is a totally different crew of people that are here tonight, and it is unbelievably incredible to watch the shift from day 4 to day 5 in real time. It's really unbelievable.
It's going to be a good evening. All right, let's go into some of those video packages. Anthony will join us towards the end of the show. Again, we'll have some other special guests coming along, and I might even indulge in a little pizza. All right, we'll be right back.
So we're over here at Winback, day 5. I'm looking around. I wasn't really paying attention, but Blue Bayou Dio has a brother in the sale. He's a Cantab Hall. He's selling here later on in the evening. And actually, this guy also looks a lot like his sister. Almost a twin of his sister. She was a Trixton. She was about that size, to be honest. And you know, obviously, she did nothing but good for the thestable.ca, that's for sure. So this is Blue Patrol. He is a May 4th, so a little later also. May 4th colt out of Blue Yonder, which makes him a half-sister to Blue Bayou Dio. A number of other horses entranced in the second dam. Paisley Yankee is the third dam, and she was an O'Brien Award winner and a world champion. So lots of pedigree. He's not a very big horse. I mean, listen, we're here on day 5 buying horses for the stable that might make sense, but we aren't here necessarily to buy horses. We're here to look, find some value if we can. If we like something that kind of looks like maybe for whatever reason it fell through the cracks, then great. Otherwise, we're just going to enjoy a nice evening here in Lexington, Kentucky. So, Blue Patrol, what's going on?
Everything good?
Very good, Joe. Very good.
Very good, very good. Have a good year?
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad, not
Yep.
bad. You'd say not bad if you got killed. Or
That's
if you
true.
if you won the Hamiltonian, you say not bad.
I try not to get too excited about how the year went. We had a good year. We won some stake races. I'm going to drive one in Lexington today in the International Money. That's ours. So yeah.
So you're turning into a driver now?
Well, I was a driver, and then I stopped driving for a little bit. I still drive a little bit. I drive our 2-year-olds. That trotter was a little tricky at the start of the year, so I won the Bluegrass with him last week. And
Congratulations, that's great.
Yeah, and then now I'm going to race him over there today, and then he's off to the Breeders' Crown after that.
Good.
So
Well, we'll be watching you. I'll root for you.
yeah. How have you been?
Good, everything's good.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't follow really close Ontario because we didn't have a whole bunch. It was stakes material, but did you guys do okay up there?
We haven't sold yet.
But I mean, so this is number 859. His name is Basin. I think it's Basin. a down by the seaside filly, a filly who's born on March the 12th. Now, this is a second foal, but the first one's been a Captain Crunch, and I don't want to knock Captain Crunch, first crop sire from last year. He didn't have a great year. That doesn't mean he won't next year. We've seen that with a number of sires. I say it all the time, you can't judge a horse on one crop, but they did not do very well. So this is, the first one was a Captain Crunch, the second was a down by the seaside, which regardless, he'd have to have one hell of a year to catch up to even remotely catch up to down by the seaside. So I would say it is fair to assume that this is a pedigree upgrade in regards to the sire. So 859, good looking horse, out of an Always a Virgin mare. Not really sure, I haven't seen a lot of Always a Virgin mares. And that mare is a sister to the mother of Vertical Horizon, Lost in Time, tons of power in this family, lots of speed. And this is a really, really good looking horse. Like we looked at it down by the seaside a few minutes ago, a little more frail looking. This horse looks a lot more durable and tough. Built well, big broad shoulder on him, big hind end on him. This is a good looking colt. Number 859, I like this guy. I like this guy tonight. Basin, selling from Diamond Creek, a March the 12th foal by Down by the Seaside. And his name is, her name, what am I saying? I screwed that up, Curtis. Never mind. Her name is Basin. I thought it was a colt. I called it a colt for 2 minutes. 918 Pelican AL. This is an anomaly. This is a half-brother to Charlie May. Now, Charlie May is a McCardle. All the horses on this page on the first dam are by Arch Chip or Racing Hill. I don't even know who Arch Chip is, to be quite frank. No idea who Arch Chip is. But I don't know how you find, this horse is going to definitely be the star of the night. This is a good-looking colt. He's not a giant, but man, he is a good-looking colt. I guess I should look a little closer before I say that. Oh yeah. He's not a tall colt, he's not a big colt, but he is a good-looking colt, and quite frankly, he's Charlie May's brother. He is going to garner a lot of attention here tonight. So let's get right into it. Charlie May is out of a Western Hanover mare. This is the 11th foal. He is by Down by the Seaside, April 21st foal. Even the second dam, Sky Dancer Hanover, 568,000, 64,000 made. Eraser Hanover, I don't know that horse, $427,000 made. And she's the dam of Bullet Bob, who made $600,000. This entire family stacked full of money and power, speed. You know, the Arch Chips, even there's an Arch Chip with 26 wins, lifetime. Man, this horse is going to get a lot of eyeballs tonight. The brother to the incomparable Charlie May. How much did Charlie May made? He's made $1.8 million, and that's with being disqualified for the Meadowlands Pace. So, a couple of steps to the left or right, and it could have been 2.3. It's a really good horse. He's going to take a lot of eyeballs and a lot of attention tonight. This is Pelican AL, Charlie May's half-brother by Down by the Seaside, selling tonight in Lexington. This is 9:31 now. We do have a number of Ohio breds, but we'll always pick up one or two more if we can. Down by the Seasides is not the pickup type of sire, but you never know. Fifth day at Lexington, I'm looking at Diamond Creek's got a whole ton of Down by the Seasides. Maybe this one maybe falls through the cracks. This is Seaside Wishes, an Ohio and Maryland foal, March 15th foal, out of Hallie Galley, who made $76,000. She was a Village Jolt. Let's make sure we don't have any updates. We do. Ruffian is a 2-year-old mark of 55 and paced in 52 and 4, 13,000 made. Really, all the power is in the second dam. Galleria is the second mother, and you know it's no different than Trotters and Pacers. If you're going to tell me the first dam is kind of soft and this is the 9th foal, well, it's got to hit sometime, right? And when I look at the ones that these are by, there's a Well Said, a Some Beach Somewhere, a Sweet Lou, a Rock and Roll Dance, a Western Ideal, a Courtly Choice. Well, it's a fresh face. This is Down by the Seaside. And a good-looking horse. No real faults with this horse at all. Stands nice, looks nice, nice colt. And again, considering there's a ton of Down by the Seasides, who knows? You know, if somebody has decided that this is the 12th best Down by the Seaside selling tonight, maybe you get this one for a bargain. Number 931, Seaside Wishes, selling on day 5 here tonight out of the Winback consignment. Okay, thanks. So here's number 938. This is a horse named Billion. Billion with a B. This is, oh my, this is a full brother to Gulf Shores. Jesus, got a lot of high-powered horses here in Lexington on day 5 for Diamond Creek. Gulf Shores, obviously, he's a stud now, I believe. 653,000 made, market 50 and 3, paced him 51 as a 2-year-old. Very, very nice horse. Now, here's an interesting little thing. Cross Creek, who obviously, their brother, not a very good horse. Paced 55 as a 2-year-old, but didn't end up being a whole lot. Captain Western, Captain Treacherous, again, didn't do a whole lot. Terlingua in the second dam, that's Art's Place, so that's a millennium ago. Not a whole lot. This is a funny pedigree. This is a good-looking horse. He's got a real good brother who's a full brother. He's going to garner a lot of attention, but an interesting pedigree here with Billion. He's got one of those walleyes too, the white eye, the right one. He's a good-looking horse, no two ways about it. He is a big, good-looking colt. I suspect he too will garner a lot of money. There's going to be some sparks flying, I think, here tonight for the state of Ohio in the state of Lexington on day number 5 here in Lexington, Kentucky. Billion certainly looks really, really good. Perfect. So this is 9:49. We are here, 5th day Lexington. Just poking around, looking at some horses. This guy obviously, actually probably played a decent role in me being here on day 5. This is Mel Gibbs Swan's brother, and he looks just like Mel Gibbs Swan. Only difference is quite a difference in the dad. Not diminishing one or the other, but Swan for All is who Mel Gibbs Swan is by, and leading the way is by Cantab Hall. This is a Kentucky and Pennsylvania colt. He looks a lot like his brother for having such a different, like the Swan for Alls are not known for looking anything like Cantab Halls. These guys look eerily similar. He is a March 21st foal. As I said, this is the same family as Tipsy and Dixie and those horses that we had also, just a different line. In fact, Tipsy and Dixie's brother is in the sale, who also is the other 2 colts we had. Taiwan On, the other filly, and Tailgate Buzz. They're also sons of Twin B Alibi, who is the first foal from this mare, Anklets Away, which makes this colt right here a brother to their mother. Yes, that's correct. So number 949, geez, he's a good looking horse. Can you walk him down for me, bud, please? This guy looks about as enthusiastic as the horse does on day 5.
All right, thank you very much, everybody, and welcome back to Fasig-Tipton, night number 5, or session 5, I guess I should say, of the 2023 Lexington Selected Yearling Sales coming up at 7 p.m. And as we continue with our final show this week in Lexington, pleased to welcome our next special guest, Mr. Tom Hicks, is joining us. And Mr. Hicks, thanks so much for taking some time to join us. You were passing by, you were offering some congratulations to Anthony on the big win today with Pickpocket. You are been involved in this sport, you were telling me, for 48 years yourself. Your family goes back to 1945. Right. You're a huge fan of not just the standardbred, but really the trotters. Tell us a bit about your background in this industry, and obviously the family is what got you started.
Well, my family, my parents and cousins of ours, Ted and Margaret Zorno, used to go to the races a lot for entertainment back in the 30s and 40s. And ended up buying a yearling in 1945 at Hanover Shoe Farms. And that started a string over many years. I remember Jim Simpson told me at one time, Ted Zorno had bought more yearlings in his lifetime than any other buyer. Now that was before the sport had changed,
right,
of course. But anyway, they started in 1945. They bought a filly named Adeline Hanover. And they gave her to Ben White to train. and she was a Grand Circuit winner at 2 and 3. And I believe at 4, she won a heat of the first Maple Leaf Trot. And another horse won the other heat. They didn't have a race off. They flipped a coin for the winner. And Adeline lost. But then they went back the next year. They bought Anthony Hanover. He was a free-for-all trotter. Ben White trained him as a young horse. But these were folks in Western New York. So ultimately, they hired Levi Harner, who was the top dash-winning driver in the country in the late 40s, early 50s. He and Billy Houghton. This was, of course, the sport was different.
Yep.
You raced from May until November, and then put everything away until the next year. So anyway, that's where they started. And one of the interesting stories is one of those Adeline, Anthony sisters was a filly called, I might forget. Anyway, it was full sister, Dean Hanover out of Aida by Scotland. She was double gated, could neither trot or pace. They ultimately bred her to Tar Heel, and she produced a great free-for-all pacer named Tarboy. And this was back in the days of Cardigan Bay and Caduceus and Apmat. And one time he won the International Encore. Anyway, it's a crazy long story. They had a breeding farm in Avon, New York, where they retired their best horses and stood them, developed the New York Sire Stake program with Dr. Zweig. And so anyway, but when I finished my education and started working in about 1975, I bought my first standardbred. It's a brood mare. It was a speedy spin mare. And I noticed that the third dam of one of the horses you bought yesterday for $6,000 was by Speedy Spin.
Isn't that something?
And he raced in the Kentucky Futurity, the Hamiltonian. He was a hell of a horse.
That's something.
And Castellan Farm stood him in Florida. So it's
Kind of full circle in a sense.
full circle. So anyway, I started buying mares. We had 13 brood mares at one time. We raised their babies, sold them. One of them was crazed, made $1 million, second to Dewey Cheatham Howe in the Hamiltonian, beating ahead. His sister, Gift Card, won the New York Sire Stake final, made about 300. Casa Marina was third in the Hamiltonian, third in the Kentucky Futurity.
Yep.
So we've had a lot of horses over the years that we raised and developed. At my age, I've sold the broodmares are gone, and I've started buying 1 or 2 yearlings a year.
And so you talked about your history in the sport. Sounds like it's been almost exclusively trotters. Do you ever dabble in the
I've
pacers?
owned 2 pacers.
So 2 pacers in close to 50 years. I guess it's safe to say you're a trotting man.
A race time filly, and I can't remember what the other one was. The other one was a pretty good broodmare. We bred her to chairman of the board. She had a horse that raced in the upper classes at Woodbine and Mohawk.
Right.
Many years ago.
Now for yourself, your involvement in the sport has been in several different areas. At this point, I mean, you come down to a place like Lexington, this just has a different feel overall. I feel like for a lot of people, you can say it almost takes them back when they come here.
It's much different. They promote it as the Lexington experience, and that's certainly true, not only here and at the Red Mile, but Lexington's a great town.
Yeah.
It's a college town. UK is a huge school now, and they've been able to attract some major businesses like Toyota. It's got a plant not far from here.
Yeah.
So it's a great, it's a real strong economic engine. Both the standardbreds and thoroughbreds, I think I think Keeneland opened today, if
It
I'm
did,
not
yes.
mistaken.
It was opening day.
So, and they probably had 40,000 people out there today.
That's what I was thinking. You want to talk about the experience? That's a whole other beast in
Well,
itself,
it certainly
right?
is. And
Now coming down to the sale here.
when you get a Keeneland weekend and a UK home game, hotel rooms are hard to find.
They are. We've been in that boat a few times in the past, and for those that might have been here, it doesn't line up this year with opening weekend of Keeneland and there being a football game here in Lexington.
That was last
But
weekend.
that was last weekend, exactly that. Now, Anthony mentioned it when we had him in the desk or at the desk here a few moments ago that you purchased the second horse that went through the ring yesterday
Correct.
afternoon. That was Triple Kiss, a tactical landing filly. Tactical Landing's very popular this year. It's had a wonderful, wonderful season. Of course, the sire of the Hambletonian winner
Yep.
and some other standouts. Was this one that you had circled, targeted, or just kind of one that kind of fell into your lap a little?
No, I wanted to buy a tactical landing filly. And made repeated efforts the first 3 days and didn't want to spend the money that it took. So there were quite a few tactical landings yesterday.
Yes.
And both fillies and colts, some of them were reasonable. In fact, most of them were reasonable.
Yeah.
And yesterday morning, there weren't many people here. And so I happened to
Yep.
fall into this filly. She's out of a Cantab dam. The third dam is Harmbro Deja Vu, the dam of the great Jarmbro. One of his horses won the Open at Yonkers last night and has made $980,000, almost all of it in overnights.
Isn't that something?
So and he stands now at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. So anyway, it's a great pedigree. Her half-sister last year brought $85,000,
Right.
and she brought 8 last night. She's a beautiful filly.
Where will this filly head now? And you talk a bit about where do your horses
Tonight
go?
she's going to Illinois. I have a trainer out there very close to the DuQuoin State Fair, the fairgrounds there. So, and they're open all winter. They have a half-mile stone dust track.
Okay.
And then when the weather's bad, they close the mile track, and then they'll open that up probably about April again. So the opportunity to finish them out, even if they're not Illinois breds, you know.
Right. And home base for you?
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Pompano Beach, Florida.
Sounds all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Does sound pretty good.
I would comment. You were talking about
Yeah.
the programs like Northeastern Canada, and you'll talk a little bit about
Yeah, we're going to focus on Michigan, in a
Michigan.
little bit.
but our trainer is in Illinois, and for the first time ever, I bought an Illinois yearling at the Illini Classic, and he's by DeJarmbro from an Angus Hall mare. They've won a couple of grassroots for Paul Reed and Bob Key.
There you go.
So it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting sport from a pedigree perspective. And the pedigrees have gotten so good that you don't have to pay $500,000 to get a real good horse.
Right.
In fact, it was very interesting. If you look at the Red Mile programs this weekend, the yearling prices are on that program
Yes.
page. And it's very interesting to see how many $300,000, $400,000, and $500,000 yearlings have made almost nothing.
It just shows you again. I mean, the scale can be from the bottom to the top, but until you get them
Exactly.
on the track, right?
Absolutely.
And it sounds like you're very, I mean, obviously with this many years experience in the sport, you've got so much you can reference, but just sounds like you're very fascinated by the entire puzzle and putting it together that it is the breeding game.
Well, I am, and one of the races that Anthony was into, the International Stallion Stake, there were 5 divisions. He won one of them with a really great colt. I think it was the division after that that was won by a son of FaceTime Bourbon, who was a son of Reddy Cash, and who won the Prix d'Amérique twice. So we're seeing, you bought a European
Yes.
maternal pedigree, but it was largely American that had been exported.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot more European horses imported to the United States because it's diversifying
Yep.
the bloodline.
It is. It is.
I write
Yes.
4 or 5 articles every week about European trotting for Harness Link. So
It's very.
I enjoy it.
You do, and I mean that is one side of the game that I have a few friends that are very, very devoted to watching the racing over in Europe, and it's like a whole different world. But at the end of the day, when you can take a little bit from there and bring it to here,
Yeah.
it's very fascinating.
Yeah, over there it's particularly in France, different distances, different starting methods, large fields that can go up to 20 for their under saddle races.
Wow.
18 for the sulky.
Yep.
It's a different sport, but we can learn a lot from it, and vice versa.
Definitely.
You know, the American bloodlines, even though the stud book's been closed in France to American stallions for years, those that were, when the stud book was open, horses like Workaholic and Jean-Pierre Dubois bred, there was a time when it was open where you could breed French mares in the United States. And he took advantage of that and bred to Royal Prestige and Armbrook Gold. And a lot of that speed you're seeing being developed now in France, and a little less in Sweden, is coming from that American influence, that speed influence on the strong French trotter that can go forever.
That's it. It's amazing. Lastly, before we let you go, what's your game plan here? Do you stay for the weekend? Do you stay for the futurity?
Yeah, very much so.
We kind of gathered that
it's
you
a
wouldn't miss a
great
race
day.
like that.
Yeah, there will be. We're talking about, you know, I buy 1 or 2 yearlings
Yeah.
a year. 3 years ago, I bought a Trixton colt, and a month and a half ago, he won here in 49-4,
Wow.
and he's in the all-age this weekend.
Right.
I'm not sure he can handle
But-
that bunch, but he can go in 49-4 here.
They may just go about 48, though. That's
They
the only
might.
thing, right? You never know. But that'll be an awesome day.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're
Really
welcome.
fascinating
Thank you very
conversation.
much.
Mr. Hicks,
Enjoyed
thanks
it
so
and
much.
continued good luck.
Thank you. Same to you. We'll take a timeout and we'll be right back.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
welcome back here to Fasig-Tipton, night 5 of the Lexington Selection Yearling Sales coming up at 7 p.m. And our next special guest will join us right now, Mr. Don Murata, Winter Circle Speed Sale managing partner, one of the owners of the sale in Michigan. And that sale just wrapped up a week ago. Last Thursday you were mentioning, Don, and by the sounds of it, sounds like you're pretty happy.
Pretty happy. I think everybody there was pretty satisfied with what's going on and what's happening.
Let's talk a bit about what's going on in Michigan. And for the clients of thestable.ca, the stable's been, well, first of all, it's everywhere. But Michigan is one of the places that it's been and been able to get its foot in there and have a little bit of success. There's been trying times, certainly. But what's the state of harness racing in Michigan right now?
Well, it's still trying, but it's got some upside to it, and it looks like it's going to get better. There's some legislation that is in committee right now. They're trying to get it before a vote, before the end of the month. All of the senators stuff go on recess in November, so
Sure.
they're trying to get it out onto the floor for a vote this next week is what they're trying to do. And what that legislation is it's increased percentages from sports gambling.
Okay.
And it is also an increase in breeders' awards, increase in percentage, and to pay 3 places, which currently they only pay the winner. So it's for the racing community and also the breeding community too.
A little more money that can go around, help everybody out. Michigan has never been able, I guess, to this point, to be able to become one of those places that has slots of funds racing, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And it doesn't appear that that's going to happen. So we have to find other ways, and sports gaming is one of it. That we've got our foot in the door, and we're just trying to sneak a little more than our foot in there.
Definitely. And I guess the one thing about a place like that is the people that have been holding on and waiting and hoping that things may turn. But you mentioned it seems to be a little bit of optimism right now. Is that the feeling you got, especially at the sale?
I did. Last year was the first sale that was held in Michigan in 14 years.
Wow.
And we sold 55 yearlings last year. And this year, I think we sold 77 yearlings, 96 horses overall. And next year, there's going to be even more. We're going to look at expanding and changing facilities. Looks like we're going to outgrow the facility where we're in. So
That's positive.
that is a positive, definitely. There's a bigger pool of yearlings coming next year. So while we had 75 or 76 this year, we're looking to be over 100 yearlings next year. And we're going to go to strictly a yearling sale next year.
Well, that's good sign, no doubt about it. So talk a bit about the racing opportunities that are available right now in Michigan. We know that there is, of course, Northville. There is a fair circuit.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's an opportunity to race for how many months of the year right now?
Right now, they just changed Northville extended through a good portion of November. So right now, the season is pretty long, like April through going to be well into November, but it's a couple days a week.
Yeah.
And our fair program, they go 8 weeks for $11,000 a week per division. And there's a Michigan sired division that are just Michigan sires, and there's a Michigan bred division, which means the mares could be bred to any horse in the country as long as the mares are owned by Michigan residents and they become Michigan bred eligible.
So you got some people trying to take advantage of that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. And next year they're going to change the Michigan sired program to have a 2-tier program.
Okay.
And that way spread the money out a little bit more and give people more of a chance to make some money.
Competition, or at least competitive, I guess.
Absolutely.
That's certainly the goal there.
Yep.
Talk about some of the people, though, in Michigan. As hey, there you go, you're a popular man. But
Yeah.
talk a little bit about just some of the people that have come out of Michigan that have maybe stuck through it, and yourself. I mean, at times you say that can be trying, and right now it might be trying, but do you feel like, and I've always found this with the harness racing industry, it's a hardy bunch. It is a tough breed, and the people will gut it out. And is it safe to say that those people were either kind of looking at it that eventually things have to turn, or again, it's just home, they didn't want to give it up?
A lot of it is home that they don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
A lot of it is home, and they are resilient. There's no question, and they're tenacious in the sport. We all love the sport.
Yep.
We all eat, sleep, and drink it, and it's in our blood, and nobody wants to see it go anyplace, and we'll do anything we can do. And of course, it's always easier to stay close to home.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Now talk about coming down to Lexington. Is that an annual trip?
This is my first trip. I've never
Is that
been
right?
here before.
Okay.
Yep. My wife and I typically buy a couple yearlings every year. And this is the first time down here, and it's quite an event. It
So
is.
that lived up to the hype, I guess?
It has. We haven't been successful yet. We've tried several times, but we haven't got the job done yet.
So when you come here, though, was there something in mind, something you were looking for, just something to kind of follow in your range, I guess?
No, we came in, typically we buy Indiana yearlings.
Yep.
This year we decided we were going to look at Ohio and Indiana and whatever else we liked that we thought we could we could purchase, and we've bid on several horses and passed on a few and got passed on a few.
Right.
But-
That certainly feels how that goes around here,
Right.
especially it was pretty hot and heavy there for a few days.
Yes, it was. Yes,
So
it
tonight,
was.
hoping to be active.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so. Yep. And if not, there's more sales to come and a lot more horses for sale. So,
There's-
but yeah, our goal was to come down here and see if we could pick something up.
There certainly is. And now we're looking pacer, trotter, or just
We
kind
kind
of
of like a trotting colt or filly, preferable, but pacers too. We've looked at them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to do your homework. You know that
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
So lastly, before I let you go, that sale next year will come up around the same time of the year in Michigan?
Actually, it's going to get moved next year.
Okay.
Along with this new facility. My dates were very limited. Looks like it's going to end up at Michigan State University.
Okay.
They have a wonderful facility, sales facility, and it'll be on the 10th of October.
Okay.
So we're going to move back a couple weeks. Yep. So it'll be after this.
And is that line kind of in a sense that maybe there's a little more money in the state then at that point, or
I-
with the way the racing schedule
No,
would be?
it was more along the lines of the facilities.
Definitely, yeah.
Availability.
Yep.
But I think things are going to be more active next year. There's a couple of new studs that are going to have yearlings next year. Quite a few of them. There's a Captain Treacherous horse that was he bred 50 mares, back to back 2 years in a row, and he was a good horse. He got a record 48, beaten time 47. So I mean, some quality stuff.
That's
And
it.
I think that's going to just keep the momentum going and keep mushrooming up to bigger and better things.
Well, that's it. It's got to head in the right direction. It
For
sounds
sure.
like you guys are putting in the work. And thanks for joining us. And obviously, wish you the best of luck. It's great to hear that. It sounds pretty positive there because sometimes the good news doesn't travel as fast as the bad news. But if there's good news to be spread, we're certainly glad we can do it.
Well, I thank you very much.
All right, Don Murata, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be right back. We're going to take a closer look at some of the yearlings that are selling here tonight.
964 Ballistic, another high powered down by the seaside at a Diamond Creek here tonight. This is the full brother to Slingshot. I watched Slingshot win in, had to be 49, wasn't it? 49-3 at Delaware last year, and he looked amazing. And even more amazing is what's underneath Slingshot. You have Stunning Beauty, who's the mother of Swinging Beauty, who is the mother of Which Way to the Beach, Captain Barboza, all this powerful, powerful family underneath this guy. I love the Charlie May colt. I liked the Gulf Shores brother also, but truthfully, looking at pedigree, this is the better of the three, I think, in pedigree, and this is Ballistic. Number 964 selling here on day number 5. Wow, Diamond Creek went all out on day number 5 this year. Any one of, or all of these three colts could have been day anything, but they chose day number 5. So I'm a little interested in this one, especially Ballistic. Can you walk him down for me, please, sir? $964, yeah. This guy's nice too. I like him. Maybe I do have to make a few phone calls then. Number 964, Ballistic, selling here on day number 5. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All done? Well, we have a number of Lexington fillies we got, but I don't think we got a Lexington colt. This is Vugu. Ooh, don't know what it means, but I'm gonna have to Google it. Vugu is a Goo Goo Gaga colt. This is an extremely good family, actually. The mare herself, 73,000 by Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. The top end a little light, I guess. It was day 5. But the second dam, Danae, oh my God, Dream Together, Dorsey, world champion. Propulsion is in there also. They got him hidden down here as making 88,000. That's almost unfair considering how much money he made in Europe and what he did in Europe. He's hidden way down here in the second dam. That is a travesty. 977 is a really, really nice colt. And listen, it's day 5. We're not here to theoretically buy anything, but we are here looking. And there's nothing wrong with this colt, Vugu. I like the way he looks. I liked his video. We were just watching his video before we walked him around, and I like what I see with this guy. Can you walk him down, sir, for me? Now again, yeah, he's a Goo Goo Gaga, so he's eligible to that incentive stuff that goes on next year. And it's not just the Red Mile, obviously. I have to double check with the incentive, but he's eligible to Oak Grove. he's eligible to the closers and stuff at Corbin also. So it's just not Red Mile stuff for people wondering about, wondering about the Kentucky Sire Stakes. So Vugu, let me see, can we see anything wrong with this guy? I'm sure there is. A little toed out, maybe a little toed out, but when you watch his video, that kind of is all negated. He doesn't come anywhere near himself. He folds over, as I like to say, he enters and exits his gate pretty cleanly. So I'm not that worried about Vugu at all. Our type of horse, 977 Vugu, we're going to be watching him go tonight here as he leaves Anvil and Lace and maybe joins the stable later on this evening. Number 977 Vugu, a Goo Goo Gaga Kentucky, and he's also eligible to the New Jersey Standardbred Fund, I guess. Selling here today, day 5 in Lexington. What did I do? Yeah. Yeah. I have to check my notes. I can't remember if I banned betting line or not. I can't remember if I did. If I did, he's out. If I didn't yet, he's on the cusp. And quite frankly, a lot of the betting lines are really, really hit and miss. Closer to the miss side than the hit side. But when you show me a good-looking horse from $1 million mare with 3 pedigrees of power and money in it, yeah, I'm going to have to take a look. So this is a Pennsylvania, Maryland eligible April 28th colt out of Tidewater Dragonfly, who's got a 2-year-old mark of 53 and a 5/8, a 3-year-old mark of 50 and 1 and a half, it looks like, a 4-year-old mark of 49 and 4, which also looks like it's on a half, and $1 million made by Dragon again. There is a full sister to this colt in this family, and she, her name was Bet She Can Fly, took a mark of 54 and 1, made $54,000. And the other sister, Dancing Dragonfly, is now the mother of Firecracker Graham, who took a 2-year-old mark of 54 and 3. So there is speed, there is money, there is talent in this family. It would take an awful lot to drag me out of the weeds on betting line. But this is a good-looking horse, and I do like good-looking horses. So number 984, Flight in Motion. I don't know if he's a sleeper, but he is one good-looking horse, for sure. A betting line. Ugh, betting line here on day number 5, but there are some good betting lines. Not a lot, but some. Buckbet Hanover.
All right, and welcome back as we're getting set for the final night of the 2023 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. And we have a new special guest with us here, Cindy Doyle from the sales office. We've been trying all week to get her out of the office to have a little chat. And for a lot of you that are tuning in who may have never been here to Lexington to the sale, or never even been to a yearling sale, any kind of sale, there's a lot that goes on and a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. And Cindy, we wanted to give not just yourself, but the entire team a moment to be recognized. How's your week been going?
It has been very hectic.
Like usual, though? Is that kind of the speed of it all?
Probably this sale, because it's a little bigger than any sale we've done. We have probably almost 100 head more than we usually sell. So it's been really hectic.
Before we came on here, you were telling me just sort of the process that goes through the calendar year of going from one sale to the next. You've been at this for over 30 years.
Right.
Let's talk about it. When this sale ends, you were telling me that by Thanksgiving, everything should be settled. The dust is all cleared. Everybody's all settled and squared
Right.
up. And then after a little downtime, it picks back up in the new year. And take us through that process. You start reaching out, or you collect
So
entries?
we invite people to enter yearlings in each of our sales. We run 2 sales. Not many people understand why we have jobs year-round, because 2 sales doesn't seem like much. But the process of gathering entries for both sales, we run the Ohio Selected Jug sale in Circleville, as well as this one. And they run 2 weeks apart,
Right.
so they're all happening at the same time. So we collect the entries in the early spring. We start doing yearling inspections that'll cover Canada, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Kentucky, Tennessee, sometimes Florida.
So it goes all right through.
So we have people going in different directions for most of the spring.
And to your point, it doesn't happen overnight. They don't just say, all right, here's the 900 horses that are going to be sold this year. There's a vetting out process. There's a lot that goes on. But when you get to a week like this, tell us a bit about what goes on in that office behind us.
So in that office, we have people turning in paperwork constantly. We have to get that paperwork marked off in the appropriate places, copied, filed, and basically answer people's questions, direct people to what they need to be or where they need to go. The sales that start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's a little more hectic for us because it gives us a short window of time on those days just to be totally prepared and know we have everything in place. These days, Monday and Friday, where it starts at night, which is what we used to always sell at night, it's a little easier, a little calmer to be able to make sure we're at the point we need to be.
Now, with so many years experience at this, you must enjoy your work, though. Do you?
I really enjoy the sales, even though I'm in there from early morning to late at night.
Right.
But it's the one time of the year that I see all our clients, and I really do love our clients. We have great clients.
And that's the one thing, we've been talking about this with one of our guests prior, just the way that this community is, and there's a lot of really good people, and for you, you're dealing with them, and then finally for that 1 week, everybody comes in, they come to your house essentially, and you get to be the host. Talk about also about the crew that you work with. How many people are on the staff during the sale, and how about full-time through the year?
So full-time through the year, we have Bruce Brinkerhoff as our manager, and then Sherry Lane is my coworker. It's the two of us in the office. And we basically work year-round. We hire in 5 to 6 extra people to help in the office and with copying results, with running errands. And then we also hire, at this sale, we hire a small outside crew that does hip numbering of the horses each day. And then we hire all of Fasig-Tipton's outside crew.
Okay. So there's a lot that goes into
So
this.
as well as renting the facility with that, we hire on their crew to help us out.
It's funny you bring up the facility because that's the one thing I think people are always enamored by when they show up here. Just
it's a beautiful,
how beautiful
beautiful
it is.
place. It's really fun to be out here at this particular location.
Now, through your years working with this sale, I know there's been kind of different variations. So does this go back to, it was always here at the Fasig-Tipton that you were involved?
When I've been
And then we
involved,
had
it's always been here. Originally, there were 2 companies. One sold at Tattersalls at the Red Mile, and we sold over here. And over the years, it got to be where we had the same consigners, the same buyers, and everybody was kind of ready for it to be just one event. So we merged Tattersalls and Kentucky Standardbred and became Lexington Selected Yearling Sales. And from then on, we've only sold here.
Was that quite a shake-up, or did things kind of come together a little easier?
No,
once
it
that
came
happened?
together because we were all pretty familiar with each other just
Right.
because we shared all the same clients, basically.
Exactly that. So for yourself, after tonight, do you get to relax tomorrow?
No. Nope, the next month and a half will be very hectic.
So it does not end after tonight, even though we
No,
think...
everybody says, oh, you'll breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
I said, well, then the really hard work starts.
Okay, well, in a month and a half, I hope you do take a little time off and you do get to relax. Cindy, we know you weren't ducking us. You were just really busy all week long.
And I don't even know if I could have strung 2 sentences together.
Well, I also know this. I asked you, did Anthony persuade you? But sometimes he doesn't really give people an option. So thanks for taking a little bit of time to join us.
No
Congratulations
problem.
on another great sale. Things have been going really well, at least from
Yes.
our vantage point.
Right.
One night to go,
Right.
and should be really strong tonight.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, Cindy Doyle, we'll take another time out and come back and wrap up our coverage from this year in Lexington.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
All right, welcome back to Fasig-Tipton as the final session of the 2023 Lexington Selected Yearling Sales, just about 5.5 minutes away. Anthony joins me once again, and Anthony, we're going to wrap things up for what's been a real fun week. Thanks again for having us here. It's been a blast, to not just being in Lexington, but to cover the sale and to also have watched what's been a really, I think, a historic week for the stable, because we talked about it, and you said it right from the top. You know, there used to be a time we came to this sale, and we're just seeing what could you get. What could you find a way to take home? And this season come with a lot of targets, with a big game plan, and with some bullets to fire. And it looks like it's gone really well. Before we kind of reflect on the week, what are we expecting tonight? We have some targets again.
No, not really.
It's a big Ohio night, right?
Value, Ohio, all the jurisdictionals outside of, some Ontario, Pennsylvania, New York, or Kentucky and New Jersey, so to speak. But yeah, I'll start by saying I can't thank our clients enough for allowing us to do this, for allowing us to come to Kentucky. You mentioned bullets to fire. Well, there's people and there's real money behind those bullets, and for those people to want to be a part of and enjoy being a part of what we've created is truly humbling. And when you think of all the people behind the scenes, you think of Wendy and Kelly and Linda and all you guys and everything. Everybody says, "Oh, that's the stable guy." Listen, I'm 1/10 max of the stable. The stable operates because a ton of people believe in what we're trying to do, believe in what we're doing, and want to be a part of what we're doing. And that in itself is an incredibly cool thing. It's something that I say all the time. Everybody has a bad day, and when you have a bad day, just think about where you were. Where you came from, where you're at. And never stop trying to be bigger or better or reach for more. And, as I said, it wasn't that long ago we did just come here hoping to maybe grab some horses out of here. And instead, you fast forward 7 or 8 years and we're coming here with a game plan for day one Lexington. That is so cool. And for all the young horsemen, all the horsemen out there, not the young, I said this before about Blair, all the horsemen out there, I want everybody just to take note. You don't have to say, well, I think when Anthony McDonald's doing great and I should do what he's doing. You don't have to. There's a million different ways you can run any sort of groups or partnerships or syndications or any sort of fractional ownership, but rest assured it is on us and everybody in this industry to try and grow this industry. There is no way this industry is going to grow on its own. So it's incumbent on us, the people of the industry, to grow it and ensure that it's around for the next generation. And that is what fractional ownership allows us to do. It allows us to bridge the gap between our little family, our little industry, and the other 8 billion people on planet Earth. And that's what fractional ownership allows us to do. And people laugh about that, but we have clients in 14 countries. 14 countries. 12 of those countries, they'll never touch that horse. They'll never brush it. They'll never feed it carrots. They'll never lay their hands on it, but they want to be a part of it. And that says a lot about our industry. For us to have the ability to draw people in from all over the world to be excited about a game that we love is really, really astonishing. And that is what fractional ownership allows. So it isn't about thestable.ca or Anthony's barn or stable. this is about the longevity of horse racing. And I think everybody should understand that moving forward. So if you're out there and 10 years ago you had 30 horses and this year you have 10, there is a way forward for everybody. And for the young horsemen out there who are, it's so very hard to start into this business. For the young horsemen out there that are wondering, how can I get started? How can I work forward? My wife and I started, 7, 8, 9 years ago with nothing.
Yep.
Now sure, I knew a lot of people in the game and I was driving, but still, there's quite a jump from that to, hey, why don't we give this guy some yearlings? You have to hustle, you have to work hard, and if you do, anything's possible in this business especially.
I will say this, the one thing you talked about was having to change your hats all the time, going from a management kind of position to now I got to be the driver here today. But I look at it, and we were talking as we were walking around this morning, you and Amy were ahead, and I said to Curtis and Jamie, I said, the fact that someone comes over and says, okay, these horses are leaving now for here, or they're going to be arriving on this day, it feels like you got a million things going at once. I know there's a lot on your guys' plate, so I have to give you guys certainly kudos for being able to manage all that.
Well, a lot of it is I say this all the time, and I mean it with the utmost respect. My grandfather always said, you're only as good as the people you hang around with, right? And if you hang around with quality, hardworking, good people, at the very least, you're going to be considered one of them. And at the very most, you'll learn a lot from them. And whether it's you doing a fantastic job here, or Curtis doing a tremendous job there, or Jamie doing a tremendous job interviewing, everybody plays an enormous role. And then I look behind the scenes. None of this is possible without my wife, Amy. You can be sure of that. Anybody that knows her and knows us knows that that's 100% accurate. So it's just having good quality people. And, yes, I have a million things rattling around in my head, but I also have people that are going to pick those things up if I forget them. So whether it's Jacob Schaefer saying, hey, we got to ship these horses here, or Lauren Harmon or Jason McGinnis or Jason Merriman in the barn in Ohio saying, I got to get the stalls ready for those horses. Everybody wants to pull their weight, and because they pull their weight, it makes it seem like I can do more than I can. And I really rely on a lot of people. And, to them out there, thank you very much.
It's team with a capital T. There's no doubt about that. It takes a village, I guess you could say. Yeah. Anthony, final thoughts on what this sale has been for the stable. I mean, I'm looking right here right now. I don't know if it says 16 purchased. I don't know if we're exactly at that. We did have a couple of those.
No, they must have fixed
it. Updated? Okay.
Yeah, because we did purchase 16 horses.
Okay, so there we
Dr.
go.
Rucker's horse was one of those horses, so they must have fixed that mistake on
16th has around 13th leading buyer. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, I mean, we're a volume buying stable, right? We came here to purchase horses for next year. This is one of 2 or 3 stables, I guess, for on a national scale that you can do that. Actually, 2. Right, Ontario's mostly Ontario.
Yep.
Ohio's mostly Ohio. You really only have Lexington and Harrisburg. You have 2 sales that really feed the entire industry in North America. We came to this sale with a goal. I think we've achieved it. Any purchases we make tonight are going to be value pickups that we think are just worth more than we paid for them. And if they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. Yep. But this sale has been tremendous. I'm excited to get these horses home and get them broke. I know that Jason Merriman and Lauren at the barn and all the caretakers there have already had the first wave that left on the trucks in the jog cart.
Right.
So, they know how we operate and how we like to do things. And as I said, just feel really blessed that we have such a great staff behind us. And whether it was the veterinarian Mike and Dr. Latessa doing the interview, or the people that couldn't be here because they were working their butts off at other places, all of those people, I can't say it enough, and I don't say it enough. Thank you very much, because without them, there is no stable. You can be sure of that.
All right. Well, before I let you go, are we going to Harrisburg? Are we going to do the show?
Absolutely. We're going to go to Harrisburg. 100%.
I'm just making sure.
We're going to Harrisburg. You're coming to Harrisburg. Jamie's coming to Harrisburg. Curtis coming to Harrisburg. We're all going to Harrisburg.
Cam's not coming to Harrisburg, though.
Oh, Cam's got to go.
His allergies, I don't think he'll be
Maybe
all right.
we'll have to get him a puffer and a request form. Maybe there's a request form on his email or something I can send him. See if we can get him to Harrisburg, too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a cool time of year. I'm actually sad that the sales ended tonight.
I'm sad that we're going home.
Yeah, it's the greatest week. Now, I say this every year. If you're out there and you remember the stable, or you're just watching this for whatever reason, you need to come to Lexington. If you want to be in horse racing, you want to really feel horse racing coursing through your blood, come to Lexington. It is an unbelievable time and an unbelievable experience. For the people that, for Jamie Smith and Angie and the people that helped us buy that horse today in Prince Edward Island, thank you very much. A great job done by them, and as I said, our Michigan filly, we don't
Yeah,
talk enough.
yeah,
We
sorry.
Don on here, and our filly ended out the season with a victory today. So Donnie Herman, great job with him and Krista and Riley. Just so many people to thank, and just a tremendous day. Yes, a tremendous day for the stable, but it's been just an incredible year.
The beat certainly goes on, and it's been a pleasure to bring you coverage of the 2023 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. Thanks again, Anthony. Thanks to everybody that tuned in all week long, left those comments, and reached out with some kind words. We really appreciate you tuning in. Night 5 is coming up in just a few moments. Make sure you stay on all the various feeds of the stable where you'll get the latest updates.
You got to be on all the Twitters.
All the X's, Twitters, whatever they want to call it now, everything out there, you'll get those updates. All right, everybody, have a great Friday night. And from Lexington, for one last time, we say goodbye.
Take care.